So, Luke, we have a new Prime Minister.
Yeah, we do. It's weird. Like, we keep on having these major political events that happen, and it's just like one after the other. Remember for the first 10 years of my life, we just had the same Prime Minister.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
even more than the first 10 years. So you were 96, right?
Yeah. Also
11 years, Luke.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, John Major was Prime Minister when I was born.
Oh wait, yeah, shit, yeah, sorry, I forgot the fact that, I forgot the fact that Tony Blair came into power in 97. But you're right, it did seem like politics wasn't really a thing, which is weird, because there was, an illegal war going on at the time, but...
Wow, illegal, eh?
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't make that kind of just outrageous judgment, cool.
Yeah, so, Bojo, as he's known as affectionately, how is he going to do? They're calling him Britain Trump, by the way. Yeah. They're calling him
honestly,
Trump.
I mean, the thing is, okay... It's not like with Trump where it's going to be bad because...
you kind of do.
Okay, yeah, you kind of do, yeah. I mean, the thing is, he said that he wants to, I mean, I guess the difference between him and Trump is that Boris Johnson has been in politics for a long time. So, that doesn't really count much for him. But, yes. But, at least Boris Johnson is a politician. But, yeah, it's not going to be good, Luke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that triggers you libtard.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out relatively recently at the cinema and see if they still hold up upon a second watch. I'm your host Michael and I'm joined as always by my co-host Luke, and today we are looking at the 8th instalment in the Fast and Furious franchise, 8 Fast, 8 Furious. Mm-hmm. It's of course actually called The Fate of the Furious, and we're reviewing this because of the release of Hobbs and Shaw. I hope is that way around?
Yep, that way around.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. So Luke, why don't you tell us a thing or two about Fate of the Furious?
Do you know which one's Hobbs and which one's Shaw, by the way?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so Shaw is the English guy and Hobbs is the Samoan guy.
Yeah, that's how they're known, as the English one and the Samoan one. So, Michael, the Fate of the Furious, alternatively known as Fast and Furious 8 and Fast 8, often stylized as F8, by the way, is a 2017 American action film directed by F. Gary Gray. And written
More
by...
like F8.
Yeah, that's great. And written by Chris Morgan. It is the 8th installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. The film stars Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Chris Ludacris Bridges, Scott Eastwood, Nathan... What the fuck is this name? Nathalie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would just be pronounced Natalie, but...
Yeah, but it's got a H in there.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it's one of those things like Anthony, where,
all right.
But I'm just guessing.
Okay, Natalie, Emmanuel, Elsa Pataki, Kurt Russell, and Charlize Theron. The Fate of the Furious was released in 2017, as I mentioned, on April the 14th in the United States. And Michael, can you guess the budget?
I'm going to guess it was a lot. I'm just going to go for what feels like a middling high number, which is 100 million.
We have 250 to 270. Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay, so that is a lot. Wow.
And the box office.
I don't remember this film. I feel like Furious 7 was quite a hit when it came out. A lot of people were quite hyped for it. I don't remember that much hype for this film. So that tells me it's probably lower than Furious 7. I don't know, maybe 550, 600? Let's go for 575 million.
1.2 billion.
Jeez, why? I clearly underestimate how much this franchise costs and brings in. 1.2 billion.
Yep, 1.2 billion.
I don't even remember seeing a trailer for this. The first experience I had with this film was Scott being like, "Hey, do you want to watch this?" I don't know. I hope he didn't have it on DVD.
Of course, Scott said that.
Yeah, I think it was on a streaming service, and I was like, honestly, I did not know there was an 8th film, whereas I did know quite well there was a 7th film, so I'm surprised that this film did so well.
Well, Michael, it's successful all around the world.
Oh yeah, I guess that's it. You got to remember that people who are from foreign countries don't have good tastes. I think that's fair to say, wouldn't you agree, Luke?
Yep, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So speaking of having good taste, Luke, did you like this film?
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say this was the best film I've ever... the best film I've ever seen, Luke. I loved it from beginning to end, except for the parts I didn't. But you know what, Luke? It was just a blast. It was a fun time. for the whole family. They, instead of just calling this Fate of the Furious, they should have called this Fun of the Furious, because it's fun.
Okay.
But no matter how fun a film was, Luke, we always have nitpicks. So how many nitpicks do you have?
I've got Fate.
I've got Fate too.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
so
wow.
Coinky dinky. Okay, so we've got to obviously. Actually, you know what? I had a die somewhere, and that would be fun. Okay, because we never
Mix it up a bit,
dice for things. But where did I put that damn die? I'm gonna get it, Luke. Don't worry. Don't worry. I was tidying out my room today and found it. Okay, so do you want to do bottom half or odd numbers, even numbers? So bottom half, top half, or odd numbers, even numbers?
Let's do even numbers and odd numbers.
Okay, so do you want to go for even or odd?
I'll go for even.
Okay, I'm going to do it on my laptop so I don't lose it, but it's going to obviously be loud. Okay, that did not work because it landed at a weird angle. Okay, it was a 6, so...
Yes.
Well done. You get to go first then.
I win. I get to
Or
go
nominate
first.
me to go first.
Yeah, I'll go first, Michael.
Okay.
I think I'll get it out of the way. So, firstly, as an avid Formula 1 fan, Michael, I know that in fact it is the car, not the driver behind the wheel, that determines whether a car is fast or not.
Okay, I wanted to comment on that remark at a different point, but
Okay, yeah. Even today, when we had a German Grand Prix, which is incredibly exciting, and there was a lot of crashes and stuff, still the top 2 finishers were in the 2 of the 3 fastest cars on the grid. So yes, the car does matter quite a bit. The new white guy in the group, the replacement for Paul Walker.
Scott Eastwood.
Yeah, Scott Eastwood. He asked The Rock about his daughter, and I don't know why, but The Rock just flips out. It's like he didn't even threaten his daughter. He just said, "Well, you should sign the agreement because of her, to look after her." And apparently, that sends The Rock over the edge. How dare someone suggest that he should look after his daughter?
Well, I mean, what are they saying? He's not a good father. Saying he doesn't care about his daughter. I'll show them.
Yeah, that shows him. Anyway, how did they get a picture of Charlize Theron if she scrubs her identity every 2 seconds?
Visual, because they needed a visual aid for the film, so they made an effort. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and by the way, I'll get into the scrubbing the identity thing every 2 seconds later on. As soon as they the team locate where Dom is with this God's Eye thing, which by the way, it does seem like a massive breach of civil liberties. Not to mention a bit unrealistic. And
that's a nitpick for this Furious 7, Luke.
Oh right, yeah. Well, again, that's not the nitpick.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
The nitpick is as soon as they locate where he is, he's in their building and blows up their building.
Okay, I had something about that too. I think that's another one actually, which I didn't bring up. Apart from, I brought up as a different thing. So there we go. But anyway,
it also there's a lot of lax security on it. Like you don't even need a code for it. Literally, Charlize Theron just walks in and takes it. And I don't know why she doesn't kill everybody there either. But whatever. Okay,
yeah, I didn't know that actually. That's a really good point because I was assuming maybe she had a moral code, and I was kind of assuming that, but I didn't even realize that. Yeah, obviously she does not. So yeah. Just no reason.
Yeah, there's no reason. So the new replacement for Paul Walker, Scott Eastwood, says to Tyrese Gibson when they are all in that massive garage in New York City, pick a less conspicuous car, and literally all of them are conspicuous.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a very good point.
I was thinking, what the fuck? They're all supercars. Any car you pick is going to attract attention. How did Dom contact Jason Statham's mom and plan this thing out so perfectly? Knowing all the angles of the cameras and everything, and getting that Cuban guy down there. How did he do that, Michael? Even if he wasn't under surveillance by this incredible cyber terrorist, to plan this all out, I just think it's impossible, I dare say.
You know what? I also had that again not under a nitpick. So 3 of yours so far have been things that I brought up under plot.
This is great.
Yes. Anyway,
I could have put more, and maybe some of the things that you've put will be in
your
my plot. Yeah, but it's just.
Yeah, I think my nitpicks, to be honest, they are actually more nitpicky. I think, but yeah, so we'll see.
All right, okay. The baby, so Dom's baby says "Dada" to him. It's literally the second time that the baby's seen him. How would he know to say that to Dom behind a fucking glass window?
Man. It's to be honest, I didn't actually notice it say "dada."
Yeah,
I feel like I just heard it as normal baby noises. But I believe you, and I can't. Yeah, I mean, maybe it just could tell because it had seen a mirror and then it saw Vin Diesel, and I was like, that guy looks a lot like me.
Yeah. I mean, Vin Diesel kind of does look like a baby, so
He does look like a baby.
maybe they've got a point. Okay, and how the fuck is Tyrese driving on the ice without snow tires? How the fuck is he doing this? And what? Firstly, why did he pick a car without snow tires? And how can he possibly drive without snow tires? What a fucking moron!
Yeah.
He deserves to nearly die and get frozen and hypothermia.
Why? Because he's black.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. No. Obviously no. Go on.
Yeah. Good. All right. Good. You've saved yourself this time, Luke.
I know.
You've weaseled your way out of this one.
Okay. What are yours?
Oh, mine. Well, first one is this film is actually, you know what? This one's wrong, actually. See, I wrote this film is 2.5 hours long. That's because if you look up this film on Google, it says the film is 2.5 hours long. And I wanted to know, because, yeah, if you look it up on Google, it says that the film is 2.5 hours long. And this was the second time watching it. And as you know, Luke, I was running a bit late and I need to watch the film. I was like, what? 2.5 hours? Turns out it's not 2.5 hours. It's only 2.25 hours, which I guess is okay. A bit of context for this. I've recently been watching the Rush Hour films, and they're all an hour and a half. And every single time I was watching these Fast and Furious films, I was thinking to myself, I'd reach the 90-minute point, and I'd think, if this were a Rush Hour film, it would be over by now.
Okay.
But no. Anyway, so this one's really nitpicky. The woman in charge of the drag race or whatever, it's not really a drag race, regular race in that place
Cuba.
where they are, Cuba. Yeah, there we go. Said be fast and also don't be last. But being fast is already conducive to not being last, so she didn't really need to say that. She should have given more constructive advice, like
I can't believe
be fast, drive reliably, make sure you move, make sure you've got good handling, things like that. But instead,
Don't
she just
set
says,
your car on fire.
Yeah, because she didn't need to say the be fast and the don't be last. Because if you said, I got to be last, but I don't know how I'm going to do that in my really fast car.
This is so fucking stupid.
Anyway, so Cypher intentionally shut down Vin Diesel's coffee shop just so that he would come past her, just so she could flex on him and be like,
Wait,
this is why you're here.
Whoa, she shut down his coffee shop.
I think so. Okay, so basically, he's walking past.
Yeah.
And, she says all these things about him, and then she says, you don't usually go this way. Your coffee shop was shut down, and this is why you're coming here. I put a lot of effort into getting you here. The implication being, now either that means one of two things. Either she knew the coffee shop was shut down because of her hacker abilities and therefore drove to that location, or she did in fact actually shut down his coffee shop some way or other in order to get Dom to walk that way.
Fucking stupid, because I was going to do a nitpick on her just flexing on Dom. Help me with my car, instead of just going up to him and saying, yo, you need to work for me, this is why. But I was like, maybe she's, teasing him, playing with him, showing how smart she is and all that. But yeah, if she just shut down the fucking coffee shop, then...
What a flexer.
I know.
Okay, and handcuffs that just a strong person can break. I mean, it's this... Also, under this, I could have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being shot by rubber bullets and being... she just take it like the Hulk. But again, handcuffs... I would think if you're making handcuffs, you think, okay, could a very strong person break these? And you probably want to have it about 10 times more difficult than for a strong person to break. But apparently he can just literally snap the handcuffs with his hands just because somebody mentioned his daughter. And the way that Dom explains the 2-man failsafe system was so funny to me, because he's like, I really want to get past there, but since you've got a Yale lock and you've got an overdrive system with a 2-man failsafe, and I'm alone. And it was like the way he explained it, it was like he was angry, but also really specific. And it was like such a hilarious combination of angry and specific that just made me laugh. It's like, since you've got this exact configuration for your lock, and I just can't get past it, I guess I just gotta do what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't seem very natural
Diesel
style.
acting is something.
That could be the nitpick, really.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel acting. Also, actually, I'll say this now. I don't think Michelle Rodriguez is a very good actor.
I mean...
There was a bit where she was saying, not good, and it wasn't very believable.
Okay, a lot of the acting in this movie isn't that good. I mean, you could...
Yeah, I don't think rapper Ludacris is a very good actor.
No.
Come at me.
Yeah. What's your next one?
Next one is... I hate people who impose arbitrary time constraints on things that are necessary. Vin Diesel's engine breaks down. He's like, I've got to fix this. And she's like, you've got 5 minutes. And it's like, I feel like I've done this nitpick before for a different film. But either way, he's got to be like, it's going to take as long as it takes. Like, if you tell me 5 minutes is up, I can't promise you that I will have fixed the engine problem by then. Maybe it will take me a while to work out what it is. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll be rushing because you said 5 minutes, it won't be done. So don't just say, like, I've got 5 minutes. I've got as long as it's going to take, because I literally can't do the mission if my engine doesn't work.
Okay,
You bint.
fair enough.
Why would the EMP cause the gates to go down? This is, of course, when Vin Diesel is driving into the Russian
Russia,
base,
yeah.
and these big, massive metal gates with like spikes on the end. I mean, it's more like a ramp, like a reverse ramp, with spikes on the end appear, and he launches the EMP, and the gates go down. Now, I would assume that the gates, have like mechanical gears that cause them to come up, and that there's an electric thing which either opens them or closes them. And therefore, if you did an EMP, that switch would just stop working, and they'd stay as they are. But apparently, an EMP causes the gates to return how they were. I don't really get how that would be what an EMP does.
Yeah, I don't know. Why doesn't Cypher just hack into it? She can hack into fucking anything. Just hack into it.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. More importantly, actually, you know what? I just thought to myself, really, if she wanted to just get accountability, she could just, hack into Pornhub, find out all the freaky stuff that these powerful people are into, and then just blackmail them.
Oh, we'll get on to that.
Why don't they split up when they're being chased by the sub? They're being chased by the sub, and like really, there's a fair amount of time dedicated to telling us that we should be scared about the fact this sub's chasing them. And I agree with that, but at the same time, they should have just split up. That would have made it considerably easier for them. By having them like all together, they were seriously, diversifying the risk is a good thing, but they weren't doing that. They were spreading the risk in a bad way. Mm-hmm. So there we go. And that's it. Nitpicks.
Okay. So you didn't just try to put some nitpicks together to get 8, did you?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
All right.
That would have been. I mean, to be honest, like some of these were not good as I read. Like the film is 2.5 hours. To be honest, I'm not going to lie, Luke. I probably should have gone through and actually revised that one, but then it would have been 7. So to be honest, it is good that it was 8.
Yeah, it feels.
I guess. Although to be fair, if I had fewer, I would have gone first. So
all right, feels like you were stretching it out.
Just saying. I mean,
anyway,
just in that kind of mood. Anyway, the plot.
Yeah. So. The Fate of the Furious follows Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, who has settled down with his wife, Letty Ortiz, who's played by Michelle Rodriguez.
Letty Autism.
Sorry?
Letty Autism.
Okay, thanks. I mean, the thing is, he doesn't really seem like he's settled down. It's like one scene, but whatever. And as soon as The Rock calls him, he's up and ready to go to Berlin. Until cyber-terrorist Cypher, played by Charlize Theron, coerces him into working for her and turns him against his team, forcing them to find Dom, this is his team, and take down Cypher. So there you go. And obviously this is very important. The Fate of the Furious is the first film, apart from The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, to not feature Paul Walker. So yeah, that's something that we have to mention.
Yeah, that's true. He should be called Paul not being in films 3 and 8.
Okay, thank you for that, Michael.
Okay, what do you think of the plot, Luke? Did you love it?
So, yeah, it's simple, isn't it? Dom,
the best.
Yeah, Dom gets picked up by Charlize Theron, who obviously blackmails him into coming to work for him, turning him against the rest of the team, that old chestnut. And they keep on meeting each other, Dom and his team, throughout the movie, and as the team tries to stop Dom from getting the various MacGuffins that he needs to get to complete the plot. So obviously, first off, it's the
It's the God's Eye?
God's Eye.
No, it's the EMP first. It's the EMP first.
EMP.
Then it's God's Eye.
Yes, then it's the God's Eye. Then it's the nuclear football, and then it's the nuclear submarine at the end.
Yes.
Yes.
Why did you say nuclear football?
That's what they call it, right?
Do they?
I swear that's what it's called.
I'm going to guess you're right. You know what? Maybe it's just one of those things I wasn't really paying attention. Here's my takeaway. They say the word fate a lot at the beginning in order to justify the fact they're calling this film Fate of the Furious, which I liked. Actually, I want to go through the things I liked, or like the things liked in like a way where it was like just fun to me.
Well, we are going to go through the movie, I think. I think
I'm going to be a positive person first. That's just the kind of guy I am.
All right. Okay. So go on then. What do you have something to say positively about the start of the movie?
Depends how you define the start, really. I mean, I'll just say right now, I mean, my first positive thing, chronologically speaking, was Dwayne Johnson being a football coach. I mean, that's like, a fair few scenes into it. Obviously, I don't really have much to say about the Cuba stuff, mostly because I think that sort of falls under the racing. Do you have anything to say about the Cuba stuff outside of the racing?
That's what I'm saying, yeah, I do. I think we should go through it like chronologically instead of just picking out faces. So, actually, you know what? I just want to say the premise first. Like, you've watched all these films, as you were saying before.
Every film.
I have watched all the first four, and
Oh dear, bad luck.
what do you mean bad luck? Some of those
Oh,
movies.
I honestly, I think, I mean, my experience will get into this, but I thought the first four were not very good.
Okay, 5, 6, and 7 I have not seen, but I know what happens in them. Well, I essentially know what happens in them. It's all pretty easy to figure out. And obviously this is the 8th film, but the premise, so these guys, they do off the books government, operations. Basically, they're off the books government operatives. They do things that the official US government can't do, even though their only discernible skill really is they can drive a car kind of fast. Apart from The Rock and Ludacris, and obviously you get what you call Ramsey joining in.
Ramsey.
She doesn't do the driving. The premise is kind of weird. I know this has been going on for 4 movies, but I just think I need to point out, these guys are just. I mean, what are they like? They're essentially just car thieves. I think Ludacris was in Too Fast, Too Furious. That was his first movie, and he was.
He was. Yeah,
and he was a car mechanic in Miami. And now he's literally a fucking secret agent.
Well, it's the American dream. I tell you what, I mean,
it is, yeah.
you're hearkening to something which I really picked up on this film, a negative. Even though I said I was going to start with the things I love. Right. Now you've thrown in this chronological order, little spanner into the works. I just want, so you know how the first 4, which you've seen, focused very much on racing, particularly the first 3 focused very much on racing. And now we've reached a point where this film is primarily about hacking. And to me, that's just the funniest thing about this film. The fact that we've gone from a film which is just films that were pretty much just racing with the veneer of there was a plot to explain why they were doing the racing and to make the racing more consequential, but the main focus on racing. And now they're on hacking. And it's it's no longer all about these fast cars people need to drive as much as it's about the hacking. And this film is the film that kind of took it over the top, because you've got the villain is a hacker, and you've got a woman in the team now who can't even drive, and her whole thing is hacking thing, and you get this just, I'm jumping ahead, but I have to because it's relevant now, this absolutely ridiculous hacking battle which happens throughout this film, but you just get literally the bit where Charlize Theron and I actually don't know the name of of Ramsey, but the actor, but
that's
actress.
Natalie, which I apparently pronounced wrong.
Yeah, Nathalie, as Mike Tyson would say.
Okay.
They're making us oh, clever, she's clever. Oh no, she's locked me out of the mainframe. Blah blah blah. And it's the thing that annoys me about it is hacking is such generic action movie trash. It's just whenever you want something magical to happen, you just go, oh, it's a hacker. It's basically a way of making it so you don't have to have clever ways for the characters to do things. You can just go, oh, she hacked into it. Well, don't worry, we'll get in this way. Oh, she hacked it.
Like I said before, why didn't you decide to just hack the fucking base to stop the EMP? You shouldn't need the EMP. The whole operation getting the EMP, just fucking hack it if you can. Anyway.
Yeah, ironically, the EMP was the only thing that I guess required any real driving skills. So that just shows how much hacking has overtaken. I mean, because the thing is with the 7th film, I mean, obviously, as I said, God's Eye is kind of the focus of the 7th film. And that's obviously about hacking too. So they're basically just moving these films. It started off with street racing, and then it became kind of heists, focused on heists with the other 2, 5 and 6. And now it's just moved into hacking and computers and
tech.
There's you really don't need cars at all anymore.
So anyway, I guess we were talking about before how the fact that these guys they're just car thieves and mechanics and all that, and now they're international espionage guys who do hacking and shit. And this is what the point I was going to get onto, and it's why does Dom get hired by Charlize Theron? Why Dom? And by the way, I'm Charlize Theron. I'll talk about her in a bit, but yeah, I do love that she's this master hacker who can manipulate world systems from the shadows, who can screw up her digital identity every few seconds if that's possible. I don't think it is, to be honest. I'm just going to say that. And she's played by Charlize Theron. It reminds me of the girl in Roadhouse who's a doctor. The hottest doctor ever. Charlize Theron is the hottest super digital hacker ever.
Luke, are you just upset because it challenges your beliefs about femininity, that women can't be hackers?
Yeah, I guess so. That's the real issue. So why is Dom recruited by Charlize Theron? What special skills does he have that she needs him for? Because the thing is, most of the stuff he does, is like he drives cars, obviously, but he doesn't do anything spectacular. Like, he doesn't need to like race away from anyone. Like, you think about it, getting the...
Yeah, you could just have a regular grunt doing the work,
yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Getting the nuclear football, for instance, and I believe it is called that. Like, he just literally walks up to the Russian ambassador's car and says, "Hey, I'm going to set this car on fire unless you give me the codes."
Yeah. Ginger Beard Man could have done that.
Yeah.
I mean, Ginger Beard Man is the real MVP, and she wouldn't have even had to murder some innocent woman.
I know, right?
To do that, yeah.
Ginger Beard Man could have done that. Ginger Beard Man could have done a whole lot of things, and I think
Ginger Beard, to be honest, I mean, I guess the only thing that Dom was useful for was the EMP, because he was able to kind of betray them, and even then, that was kind of lucky. The fact that he and Dwayne Johnson, what's his name again, Hobbs, he and Hobbs kind of drove off together. But as we've already established, the EMP seems not that useful when, like we say, she seems to be so good at hacking that anything technological she could have just taken over anyway. So,
well, think about it, Michael.
Basically, like, Dom is useless.
Think about it. So, who foils her in the end?
Jason Statham.
Well, yeah, but it's the whole
Dom too.
It's the whole team. That's what I'm talking about.
Whole team. Yeah.
The team wouldn't have been interested in her if she didn't try and recruit Dom. Think about it.
Yeah.
And so she would have gotten away with it. She didn't,
if it weren't for those meddling kids.
That's the thing. She didn't need to interfere. Like, with Dom, there's no advantage of getting Dom over, like, the bearded guy. And in actual fact, because now you've got, like,
a huge disadvantage.
A whole team of, like, of 6 people who, you know, can do a lot of cool shit, who are now against you. Like, yeah, like you said, it's now a huge disadvantage. So Charlize Theron's a fucking moron. Like, Dom didn't need to be really fast at driving cars to take the nuclear codes. He didn't really need to be fast at driving cars to, go underneath that submarine and to disable it, set off the EMP. Like, he didn't really need to do that. Like, you could have got any old, person to go and do that. Doesn't require that much driving skill. So I'm just like, yeah, why? Like, this, Dom is treated like, oh, he's the best of the best. Charlize Theron wants to get him, but, like, why? Tell me,
I don't know. I mean,
what sets him apart?
These films carry with them this presumption that, like, street racing is a really important ability in general, but
and if you're a street racer, you're also like a hitman as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're all really good at that. But yeah, I mean, obviously Dom, he's like done a lot of stuff, so I guess you could just say, you know what, he has the experience. I mean, if it were a resume, he's definitely up there. Although, to be honest, I mean, I guess the thing is, I guess Jason Statham's pretty good, but to be honest, if she was going to do anyone, it would be Hobbs, because think about it, right? Hobbs, number one, he just had the EMP already. If she would have picked Hobbs instead of Dom,
and Hobbs has got a fucking daughter as well.
Yeah, and he's got a daughter.
Just blackmail him.
Yeah, exactly. And he can get shot with a rubber bullet and just brush it off. Like, yeah, she should have got Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And also, to be honest, I mean, I would rather kiss Dwayne The Rock Johnson than Vin Diesel.
Oh, that's a hot take.
And it's very hot. I'd like him to break me like he broke the cast on his arm.
That's fantastic. So I think we should talk about Cypher now. Like, we've said, like, why did she hire Dom? Like, what's the point in that? You didn't need to get him in the first place, and if you were going to get one of the team, you might as well get Dwayne Johnson instead. And obviously having, Vin Diesel on her team meant that whole team, his former team, were looking for him and trying to stop her, so really fucked herself over there. But what is her motive, Michael?
Okay, see, I want to talk about this.
Okay, go
because
for it.
This is an interesting thing to me because, I think on the surface the motivation is kind of like interesting because she's not interested in revenge or money or something like that. She says she's interested in. Also, I just want to. I wrote movitation on my
That's great.
notes here. Hilarious. She wants accountability. Now, I think we can talk about that in a bit, but I'll say my thing. The first thing I thought when I was watching this, which is that's kind of a relatable motivation. And I was thinking, what would be better is if, like, she was, say, somebody from Yemen or somebody from Afghanistan, and basically it was like, one day she saw her family get killed by a extrajudicial drone strike, and she thought to herself, you know what, there are evil people in charge of this world, and they need to be held accountable. And that was her motivation, to get the ability to hold these government powers who, kill people and act extrajudicially and start wars and cause war crimes. She wants to be able to hold them to accountable. And basically her message was, I need to be in charge because I'm the moral center of the world. that's kind of what, and yeah, like, so she has like a past
Okay.
experience with it. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, Luke?
Well, here's the thing, like that right there would be good. But here's the thing, we're talking about her motive, and the thing is, it's just one line. She literally has one line to do with her motive, and you've talked about all this, and I'm going to talk about all
Yes.
that off one single line.
Yes, that's the problem.
And
Yeah,
that is the
100%
problem.
on point.
Like, if you'd fleshed her out, it'd be like, okay, yeah, no, here's something. Like, you said you gave her the backstory. I was
Yeah.
thinking when she said that about all the stuff concerning Jeffrey Epstein and his
Yeah,
and his sex island and all the elites in politics and business that have been connected to that. I was thinking about that. But yeah, like, you could say fucking war crimes in the Middle East as well, you know? But it's just one line. And do you know why they had her just say one line instead of flesh it out? It's
because they're stupid.
it's because the people that watch this movie are too fucking dumb. So they don't want to think about that. They don't want to think about war crimes in Yemen. They just want to, you know, look at her and say, "Oh, she's the bad person. She's the bad guy," you know, and not. And so that I genuinely believe that's why, because it's
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
because there's no reason not to flesh it out apart from, well, the audience won't care. They just want to see like shit get blown up, and they don't really care about her motivation, which is a shame. It is a shame, but yeah, I don't think we can really say she has a motive because it's literally just one line, and she doesn't expand upon it at all. And it is just kind of a throwaway thing. And the thing is, it's one of the most interesting lines in the movie, hence why we both picked it out. We were
Yes.
like, oh, there's something. It's not just she just doesn't want power, she wants accountability. Well, that's something that, you know, is a bit different to normal.
yeah. But it's like, yeah, and there is so much you could do with that premise. I mean, like, literally anybody who is remotely intelligent could take that premise and be like, oh, you know, what kind of moral, philosophical, thematic questions can be explored by that? You know, is it okay for somebody to want accountability and or want to be in charge of everything? You know, because
Yeah, but
obviously
the
she'd be
problem
making
is
herself the world police.
You're discussing this, then your audience that's gone to see this movie is falling asleep.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, it's just so. I mean, it's quite disappointing indeed, because you hear that and you're like, oh, you know, maybe she's going to reveal some kind of interesting thing about herself when she says that, and then it's just like,
Nope.
all right, done.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, basically, like, it seems like her motivation in the stricter sense is just power. She's like, oh, I want people to know that I'm going to be in charge. If they do anything, I'll get them.
that's the
So
thing.
obviously, that's exciting, isn't it?
That's what you assume, exactly. And it's like just boring and whatever. So anyway, I think we should get down to something that I kind of mentioned before. I was talking about just the premise of like these people working for the US government off the books and stuff. I don't know why this team are the ones that are sent to track down Dom and get the EMP. I mean, what do they know about this situation that like 17 other intelligence services in the United States don't? Like, if Dom's this massive threat, why are you putting fucking Tyrese Gibson and his girlfriend Letty on the case? Like,
Yeah.
the only explanation is like the guy who, what's he called, Mr. Nobody? He wants to clean up this mess, you know, by himself. So he was the one that quote unquote hired Dom, and so he didn't want to, you know, this getting out of hand and other intelligence services knowing. And that isn't acknowledged though, and that's a pretty bad thing to do when there's, you know, nuclear weapons and shit gets involved. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of egregious that these guys are trying to stop Dom from, you know, using an EMP or whatever. Like I said, fucking Tyrese Gibson, I don't know what his qualities are.
Yeah.
But once God's eye is stolen, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this super hacker, like Cypher, she's a cyber terrorist, a literal god, and you think like Letty and fucking Tyrese Gibson and Michelle Rodriguez in some cool looking supercars are going to solve the problem? Like, are better than this fucking US intelligence agencies? You know, what is this shit? Like, it's so stupid. It is ridiculous. So you're treating these people like they are fucking James Bond, but they're not. Like, what did Michelle Rodriguez start off doing? She was like a mechanic, wasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, like, she had like well, I don't know actually. I think literally her only thing was that she was like friends with Dom.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if she. Oh, obviously, you know,
Tyrese
friends,
Gibson
as they
was
say.
a fucking petty criminal living in a caravan. Like, why do these people get involved? Why? I mean, like, it's so fucking dumb. Like, throughout this movie, I was thinking, like, where's the FBI? Where's the CIA? Like, the fate of the world is in the hands of fucking Tyrese Gibson. I'm sorry to keep bringing him up, but he's the most. He's the worst example.
Yeah, I mean, he is also just, I mean, very. I don't know if he's that annoying in this film. Like, being annoying is something that he most definitely is.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely often. But Definitely, if he's not annoying in this film, he's annoying in most other films he's been in.
I mean, you can have this team like do the missions like the EMP one, like off the books. It's not world ending. Like they're just trying to get the EMP back. You know, I can sort of buy that, but like, come the fuck on, man. Like, as soon as God's Eye was stolen, everybody in the US intelligence should be on this situation, and they should be using more than like a drug dealer car compound with some fast supercars. Like, surely they've got more like stuff than that. And you know, Dom gets fucking out of New York City with a like nuclear codes, for fucking Christ's sake. We're talking potential Cuban Missile Crisis levels here.
Definitely.
And to stop this, what you put fucking Michelle Rodriguez and fucking Ludacris on the case. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I'm
well,
sorry.
you know,
it's just.
I mean, it's just
ridiculous.
Pretty cool.
This is the thing, though. Like, if you keep on upping the ante, eventually you're going to get to the situation when I guess in this movie and probably in the previous movie, from what you've been telling me, it's like, why are these people involved in this situation?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the good news is, Luke, apparently they're planning on ending it with Fast and Furious 10. So,
well,
you know what? They've only got to up the ante 2 more times. But then also they've got the spin-offs.
The spin-offs.
I know. I mean, hopefully with the spin-offs they won't try and up the ante. Maybe they'll
No, I don't think
tone it down for the spin-offs.
Well,
so there we go.
That's when it'll be at its best, because it does, like, it's... I can't get engaged.
Oh, they're going to have... Actually, Luke, you'll love this. They're going to do... this is jumping a bit ahead, but they're going to do an all-female version of, like, Fast and Furious. Like a spin-off where it's all women. It's going to be the Ocean's 8 of Fast and Furious.
Oh, wow. I'm sure Fast and Furious fans who are known for their respectful attitudes towards women will love that movie.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I mean, the worst thing is, like, as bad as I'm sure Fast and Furious fans are, they're probably not as bad as, like, nerds. They're probably not, like, the I don't know who would watch this, but I'm going to guess, like, meatheads. I mean, it's probably not
exactly,
meatheads, but, like, the meatheads who watch this would probably be more progressive in their attitude towards women than, like, DC and Star Wars and, you know, those kind of fans.
But they still wouldn't be progressive. I think,
they would be great.
I think the differences be like these fucking like alt-right nerds would be like, oh, this is proving that women are destroying our culture and our society.
Whereas these guys just be like, boo,
I don't like
women,
girls.
take off your top.
Yeah.
Probably like that.
Yeah, I know. So that's the difference. But yeah, like...
Yeah.
That should be interesting. That should be something, because I was going to talk about this a bit later, but yeah, like women in this movie aren't treated that well.
Yeah, well, I was going to talk about that. I actually had one more thing to say about Cypher. I don't know if you have anything else to say about that.
No, yeah, go on.
All right, so I just want to talk about the killing of the woman, the mother. Mostly because, I mean, something I'll get into a bit later when we talk about action, I think, is the fact that there's not much expendability in these films in general. But that woman being killed, it was like kind of, you know, sort of ballsy in a way to be like, oh, we're just going to fucking kill a woman who's, you know, tied up, just kill her execution style. Having said that, it's also kind of callous if you know the context, because I'm guessing, I've actually already forgotten her name, but I think she's called Elana.
Yes.
Basically, you haven't seen 5, 6, and 7. So, obviously in the 4th one, Michelle Rodriguez gets quote unquote killed and loses her memory and kind of goes off the board or whatever. And then Dom in the 5th one, like, is with a woman and in the 6th one. So he's basically with a woman and they're kind of, you know, getting along and stuff like that. And then they find out Letty's not dead and that she's actually alive. And basically the woman's just like, okay, so I see that the woman who you really love is actually alive. So I'm just going to duck out. And then literally she comes back just to be a plot device and then get shot in the head. So I don't know. I mean, it sucks for her, but like, I don't know. It's kind of, it's one of those things where it's like, it's almost worse to have no expendability at all than to have like one of your quote unquote main characters be expendable, but it's literally the most forgettable character who was literally just there as a placeholder while Dom didn't have Michelle Rodriguez to bang. So
yeah, I guess so.
Basically just what I'd say about that.
Yeah. You're right. She's here's the thing. Like, I hadn't seen the 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
So I'd forgotten about this character.
Yeah, I think she might be in 4, but you wouldn't.
I mean, if she was in 4, I don't
scarcely know her from the 5 and 6, and she's supposed to be like a proper character in there.
Well, here's the thing. Like, even for this movie, like, I'm betting even people who watch like 5, 6, and 7. Of course, you watch them all like really closely together. But even for people who watch 5, 6, and 7, they'd be like, "Huh? Who's she?" Like, I bet. Yeah. I bet there was a significant chunk that didn't recognize her just because, you know, nobody really thinks about these movies. It's not like Star Wars.
Yeah, I find that. I mean, I will get into that in a minute, but yeah, it's like crazy to me that these films, like, they're kind of. I mean, they're not complicated, but it's like there's a lot of stuff happening in them, especially like with like characters appearing who you haven't seen, and you know. since like 5 films ago, and they show up and like, oh look, it's me, and you're like for example, I mean the guy from the Tokyo Drift. Does he show up at the beginning of this film, or am I wrong about that? I think I'm wrong about that. Sorry, he shows up at the beginning of the 7th film. Okay, so never mind. But things like that happen. Like characters show up, and you're like, "Oh, it's that character." And I'm thinking, like, to the people who watch this, like, it kind of triggers me that the people who enjoy these films are even possibly intelligent enough to be able to pick up all the narrative complexity of all the different characters jumping in and be like, "Oh, I remember that character. He was in a background scene from 5 films ago."
In that great accent.
Yeah, I mean that's how I assume they will sound.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know what these fans sound like, but I'll just say that, yeah, I'm guessing they... Like, I can't imagine they remember this shit. Because think about it. It is the movie where you see, like, and if you're a fan, you're like, you know, you eat your popcorn, you see it, and you're like, oh, that was so cool, man. And then you go, and then, I don't know, you fucking play Fortnite. I don't know. Whatever meatheads do nowadays.
Yeah, probably Fortnite. I mean, everything's Fortnite nowadays.
I just think it's the most popular thing, Fortnite. You know, so I put it there. But yeah, anyway. So, Michael, I think we should move on to family.
Wait, family?
Yeah, family.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Okay, so this is a movie about family. And that's what makes it so powerful.
It's...
That's great.
I love it, yeah. I mean, it is a film about family, because you know what? It's not necessarily a conventional family.
Yeah.
It's a modern progressive family.
Yeah, with many different ethnicities that can appeal to many different markets.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and so it's time to talk about the family aspects of this, and you know, it's a theme that runs throughout the movie, possibly runs throughout the previous movies. I don't know, won't surprise me.
Probably drives throughout the previous movies.
Great. So Charlize Theron obviously kills the mother of Dom's child to punish him for letting Letty go. Then
that's kind of funny that she's called Letty and he let her go.
Then tries to convince Dom that family is stupid, which is in self stupid. Like, she's a psychopath and all, I can buy that, but surely she doesn't think she can convince him not to care about his son. And also, it's like the easiest thing in the world for the bad guy to be against, like, family. Like, everybody loves family, don't they? Like, nobody's like...
It's like Mr. Burns says, family, friendship, religion, these are the 3 demons you must slay if you want to succeed in business.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, who the fuck... Like, who's going to be on her side and think, you know what, I think Cypher's got a good point. Family is pointless. Like, no, like, it's the most easy thing to, like, for the audience to get behind, in terms of get behind Dom.
Tell you what, though, what I could be behind is if she was really against Family Guy. I think that would be a good film if she was like, I want to get some nukes so I can get Seth MacFarlane to stop making Family Guy. It's not funny anymore. Like, okay, you know what? That's fair. I mean, you know, kill the mum. I think it's a necessary evil.
Yeah. Okay, but here's another thing, though. She says, like, this idea of family of yours that rules your world. I think that's the line. And I'm just like, wait a minute. That's not his idea. Like,
that's evolution's idea.
Like she says, it's evolution. Like, and Dom isn't like a big fucking family guy. I actually said the word family guy. That's great. He's just normal. Like, he's just caring about his family.
Yeah, he's just a regular American dad.
Yeah, caring about his family or his son.
Did you catch that, Luke?
Yeah, I did. But
okay,
you know what?
I just wanted. You decided to let it stand on its own.
Just sped right past it. Yeah. So Dom caring about his family and his son is not something that is unique to him. Like, and it feels like this movie is trying to make it out. Like, Dom cares a lot about family. It's like, well, fucking everybody does, unless you're an orphan.
Yeah, unless you're the Cleveland Show.
Yeah, unless you're the Cleveland. Yeah, I do think. What was that movie before, which I said was quite alienating to orphans? There's another one.
I don't know. Wait, I mean, I can go back through the different films we've seen. I feel like so many films have orphans in them. Like, I don't know.
No, what I mean is like a film that talks a lot about family and like.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I'm just like, it must be so shit if you're watching this. And you're an orphan.
What was that though? Oh, was it? Wait, no, it couldn't have been that, could it? That would have been a stupid film. I was thinking of Next of Kin, but I mean, obviously that film's about family. I felt like it's like quite a way back.
Yeah, I know it is quite a way back, I think. But yeah, I mean, like, if you're an orphan, man, these movies must be shit. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
I mean, like,
I agree. I mean, to be honest, actually, when you think about it, it's good because it's like I say, it's not a real family. So you could say, I mean, this is actually a very empowering film for orphans because it's like, hey, you know what? If you haven't got a mum and dad, just get a bunch of people who drive cars with you and you go and complete missions with them and things like that.
Yeah, spin zone there, yeah. Although, would you be allowed on Family Feud with that? Like, would Dom and his quote-unquote family be allowed on Family Feud? I'll tell
you what, I mean...
That is the real passion.
That's going to be Fast and Furious 9 right there. They've got to break their way onto Family Feud.
Fast and Furious Family Feud. Fuck me.
Oh yeah, that would be Fastmally Furious.
Family Feud. Yeah. Okay. Right. So yeah, we've got the next movie done. That's
Yes,
sorted.
good.
Right.
Well done.
So I think we should talk about the final scene in the movie, which is
Yes.
Russia. So obviously,
Yeah, okay.
the team go to Russia because they know that Dom will infiltrate the base to use the EMP device to disable their security and then disable a nuclear submarine, enabling Cypher to hijack it and attempt to use its arsenal to trigger a nuclear war, which is, I think, a safe thing to assume. Yeah, it turns out they're right. So the guy who they've been mocking for being new to the job says,
You mean Scott Eastwood?
Scott Eastwood, yeah, the replacement for Paul Walker.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Luke. I'm going to have to bring this up now because I've just been thinking it for ages. You say he's a replacement Paul Walker, but, like, what's the point? Because his character...
He's a replacement for Paul Walker, that's his point.
But is he though? Because he's, like, not smart or anything.
No, I'm talking about demographically. Like,
Oh,
they were
okay,
like,
got you, yeah.
Okay, we need another white guy in here because, that's a big part of our meathead demographic. And if we don't have a white guy in there, then, there's going to be a bit of a problem. So we need to get one in there. And how do
I
we...
just felt like he was a bit of a beta, so I don't think...
Sorry,
or was
what
it
do you mean?
Beta. Well, it was like, he was always getting shown up by everyone. Everyone's always making fun of him.
Yeah, but that's at the start.
It triggered me as a white guy. Okay.
That's at the start. Like, he grows into it.
So you're saying, like, it shows how white men can become glorious again through the power of Trump's presidency.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So, anyway, he says to, the main guy, Mr. Nobody, he says, right, now we should take this to the higher-ups. Like, it's a fucking nuclear war which is involved. I mean, he doesn't say that explicitly, but he should, and he's right.
Yeah.
But Mr. Nobody says, like, no, the US and the Russian governments aren't talking to each other. Okay, like, they're probably not, but I think Russia would still want to know. Like, I think you can make an exception in this case. I think Russia will probably be even more pissed when they discover there was an attempt to take a Russian nuclear submarine by Cypher, an American operation going on to stop that happening on their territory, and they weren't told. Like, I imagine that'll piss them off even more. So yeah, I think it would have been wise to tell them. To be honest,
yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And Russia, you know what? They've got a really good military.
Yeah, they do. They have a really good military. And what's the fuck is the deal, by the way, with the separatists taking it over as well?
Well, they've just got to. They want to separate from Russia.
So, were the separatists? Did the separatists take over then? So it would be like so basically, it would be an excuse as to why Russia, after having the nuclear code stolen, didn't man all their nuclear bases like with a load of soldiers. Would that be the excuse? Is that why they had quote unquote separatists take over this thing?
Well, you know what? I think, yeah, basically, I mean, the question is who are they going to separate from? And I think you know the answer again. Basically, the Ukrainians wanted to leave the USSR and they didn't realise they already had.
Okay.
So that's why, and there was a whole confusion about it, and
all right.
Everyone became convinced that they'd gone back in time to the
1986.
1980. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those days.
Well, okay, right. Here's the thing: we're talking about the US government and Russia, and fucking Russia not being told about if there's an American op going on in their territory, and how it doesn't really make sense. And I'm just thinking, like, this is why you don't get involved in geopolitics. Just stick to having like fucking drag races in Los Angeles or Miami. Just stay out of the fucking geopolitics, man.
Or, I mean, they can, basically go to Dubai, because Dubai's got lots of really cool cars, like they do in Furious 7.
Yes.
But just don't bring up the fact that they still have slaves there. That's how you do it. You just ignore the fact. Just say, oh, wow, look at how crazy these Arabs are with their massive
Is that what happens in Furious 7?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you what happens in Furious 7. You need to know this. You need to hear this again. They drive so this Arab guy has a supercar in his penthouse on top of a skyscraper. They fucking drive the car off a skyscraper into another skyscraper.
That was in the trailer, yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah, it's a...
Oh, also, actually, you know what? I have to bring something else. It's because I feel like it reflects a lot of the Fast and Furious attitude. For no reason, there's like this expensive, historic art exhibit happening in one of the skyscrapers. Like, there's this terracotta Chinese kind of warrior army, and there's all these tapestries and stuff like that, and there's these Ming vases, and just unnecessarily, they drive through it and just destroy it. And I'm like, I mean, that just kind of sums up the entire, Fast and Furious franchise, just being like, fuck you. They could have just driven through anything, but let's make them drive through these ancient artifacts of history that connect people to their historic culture.
Yeah, that's great.
Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so they have that action scene, in Russia. There's a lot of hacking and counter-hacking, real realistic stuff that's going on. It's great for the audience when we have no idea what's going on, and Charlize Theron is hacking stuff and she won the hack off and you don't know how. It's really great to watch.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's the elevation of absurdity in these movies about how, because you've got all this tech involved, all these geopolitics, all these crazy stuff going on, like God's Eye, that now there's a lot of hacking, which is just completely, it's so far away from the original Fast and Furious movies. So they managed to stop the sub from launching its missile. So they have to stop the sub, which obviously leads to the next action scene, which we'll get onto later when talking about the action. And we haven't talked about Jason Statham yet. And obviously, he joined the crew because it's you guys need to work together, even though you weren't on the same side, but now you have to be partners. An original concept, which I'm...
although it has to be pointed out that if you've seen the previous films, then you know that Jason Statham murdered one of their team members, one of their crew.
Oh, did he?
So so basically, it's not I don't know, they just had a bad moment. He straight up murdered one of the people on their team.
And so Dominic Toretto shoots Jason Statham, and
yes,
guess what? It actually turns out that he's not dead and he's alive.
Oh yeah,
who could have seen that coming? What a twist!
It was beautiful.
Could you have seen it coming, Michael, when you watched it for the first time?
Well, I thought to myself, like I said I was kind of going to get into this. I was going to get into this under action, but I'll just say it all now. So basically, like I say, these films, they don't have much expendability, which kind of makes you think to yourself, well, it's not that interesting because I know all the characters are going to be fine. I'm not on the edge of my seat because I don't think any of them are going to be in trouble. And Jason Statham dies, and you think to yourself, well, they're probably not going to stick with this. There's probably going to be some kind of twist. I mean, they've already had Letty come back from being shot at point blank range, so got to be some other thing going on. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I bring this up because I was watching it with some people, and someone said to me who was watching it with me, I really couldn't tell, the first time I watched it, that is, I really couldn't tell that Jason Statham was going to come back. They said they did.
Did you slap them in the face?
They didn't see the twist. And I was like, how could you not see that, you fucking dumb cunt?
Yeah, that's what I would have said too. Yeah, I think that's what any sensible person would have said.
I know. I'm glad you agree with me. But no, it's so stupid. The thing is, you can tell because there's no conversation between. It's not played out. Basically, the death of Jason Statham, it happens so quickly. So you're like, okay, yeah, that's definitely. He's definitely coming back. He's not dead.
Because if they were going to kill someone, they'd milk it.
Yeah, and literally, Toretto just talked to his mum 5 minutes ago. So yeah, something definitely going on there. Okay. And I don't know why they had to hide that from the team, by the way. Why The Rock had to know that Jason Statham was dead.
I mean, that's the thing, because you have to realize, because, you said, and you were right to, it's how did he arrange this meeting with Statham's mum?
Yeah.
And the thing is, first of all, one has to think, why do they even need the meeting? Clearly, if he's capable of arranging a meeting with her, you'd think he'd be able to communicate the other information he wants. I mean, maybe not, but he was able to apparently communicate the information within less than a 5-minute window, plus small talk. So it seems like he would have been able to. And on top of that, if he can communicate, then he could communicate, for example, why he's doing this. He could say, by the way, guys, the reason I'm acting evil right now is because they've got my, son. And I mean, maybe he thought he didn't want to do that because he thought that would cause them to come in and jeopardize his son's life or something like that. I don't know, but you'd think he could kind of communicate the situation if he can apparently arrange all of these little schemes.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, so Cypher's defeated. Dom gets his baby back. Everything is all good. The nuclear weapon nearly went off, but whatever. They're all back in New York. Everything's fine. Apart from, I don't know if you noticed this, I just know this because I've heard of what's going on in the background of these movies. The Rock isn't in the last scene. So, you know about the feud between Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel?
Oh, no, I don't. Tell me all about it.
So apparently, they don't like each other. It's a kind of an alpha-off. Two alphas don't like it that they're in the same movie. And obviously, what was it? Oh, yeah, Dwayne Johnson called, I think it was Vin Diesel a candy ass on Instagram. I think that was it. And
that's beautiful.
If you watch the last scene, I don't think they're in any scene together in the movie, but that's fine, really, because they're quite far apart. But
I'm not a professional.
Oh my god!
You call yourself a fucking professional?
Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so they're not in the last scene. Like they're all on the the balcony or the roof having dinner and saying how important family is and all that. He's not actually there. He's not actually in that scene. Like you see a shot of the table and it's cut off right before Dwayne Johnson, and Dwayne Johnson is never in the same shot as Vin Diesel. And I think it's just funny to me that the feud between Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel is bigger than like any feud in this movie. Like yes. I think that's really funny. Like the real drama between the characters is actually the drama in real life between the actors. It's great.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah,
I didn't know about that, but that's interesting information. Or as I like to call it, interesting intro. Anyway, let's move on.
Yes. So, Michael, I want to talk about now, I think we covered the plot and we'll get onto the action scenes in a bit, but just the masculinity of this movie, if you will. The testosterone-fueled masculinity. I mean, like, Christ, it's basically the lifeblood of this movie. All the dialogue that isn't exposition, it basically comes from, I guess, toxic masculinity, with either of the two male characters in a scene being aggressive to one another, or making like sexist comments. Like,
you got a problem with people making sexist comments, you dickhead?
Particularly Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson as well. They're at it quite a bit, talking about Ramsey, which is...
Oh, also, I like the bit where Dwayne Johnson calls Tyrese Gibson shrinkage. He says, yo, shrinkage, you get in the car.
That's great.
Classic.
Like, the thing is, you can't go a scene in this movie. I think it gets better later on, actually, but like certainly at the beginning... You can't go a scene in this movie without one of these things happening. Like, for example, when Dom and the bearded guy meet for the first time, like, they're not even doing anything, and the bearded guy just gets in the way of Dom, and then Dom threatens to kill him. It's like, what? Why? Why are you, like, threatening to kill each other? You're literally just walking in a room.
He's got to establish his dominance.
Yeah, I guess so. And there's another one where Tyrese says, can anyone get me Charlize Theron's number?
Well, I want to talk about... I don't think this is as common in this film, but... I noticed it in like a lot of the films. Almost every single shot of a woman is an upskirt shot. Like every single shot, they just got a woman walking along, and it's like every single time the camera's looking up at them. And let me tell you, Luke, it's not looking up at them as a visual way to communicate their dominance over the situation. I can tell you that for true.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe why it's looking up at them.
Why?
So it can look up their skirts, Luke. That's why it's called an upskirt shot.
Are you talking about when like the big scenes, like for example in Cuba, when they're all the camera is panning across all the girls, like you say, in like kind of upskirt shot, or I don't remember any specific like upskirt shot. Yeah. But that's the thing, like that is something that has been always a part and parcel of Fast and Furious movies. And I'm like, okay,
and it's time that changed, Luke.
Well, it is time that changed, but I'm like, okay, I don't think that's as actually that bad as like one of the characters, like for example, when Ludacris says to Ramsey, "Oh, she's definitely a 10," like that. I don't. Because
the explicit what you might call sexual remarks, sexual harassment, that's what it is. It's harassment of a sexual nature in the workplace.
Because like Ramsey's she's just sitting there like trying to do her job. Yeah. And the thing is, those girls are they are there for a reason, Michael, in that particular scene.
It's because they're hot.
Yeah, it's because they're hot. So,
although actually, Michelle Rodriguez isn't that hot, so
I'm not talking about Michelle Rodriguez. Though.
Okay,
I can't remember the extras.
Oh, okay, yeah, got you. Sorry, yeah, got you. Yeah.
So, like, all the extras, they're there for that reason, but like Ramsey isn't there for that reason, or supposedly she's not. But anyway, so I just thought I'd point that out because I was like, I hadn't seen one of these movies for a while. I was like, wow, this is really there's a lot of macho stuff in this. I guess again, I'm not surprised because obviously, who is this movie marketed to? But I just thought the extent of it was wild. And I was going to talk about this, I mentioned it later, I was going to talk about it now. Michelle Rodriguez was, she did call out Fast and Furious, I think, for like sidelining women. I think that's what she said. And I think because if you think about this movie, she basically had nothing to do. Like, she didn't really do anything. As the same with, like, I guess, Ramsey and Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson, but at least, like, the main characters who were doing stuff were, well, from a male perspective, were male. There wasn't any female action heroes like doing stuff in terms of them like not being a sidekick like Michelle Rodriguez was. So that's why I'm not surprised that they're doing like an all-woman Fast and Furious thing because
they've already shown how progressive they can be.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna just take it to the next level, of course.
Yeah, I know. Like that. Yeah. So basically, the point I want to make of this movie is there is it just surprised me. But by the way, The Rock and Jason Statham, like that's probably the most testosterone fueled scene like in movie history. When he's just like, what's he doing? He's just flexing with some fucking.
He lifts up a bench and starts working out with it as you do.
Yeah, and Jason Statham's just staring at him, and it's just like, what is this, man? This is
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and you can imagine all of this being hyped up for Hobbs and Shaw. That's going to be one testosterone fuel. Fucking, I can't say the fucking word.
Yeah, testosterone. You know what, Luke? It is hard. I'll admit that. But you know what, Luke? Maybe since you're such an SJW cuck, that's why you can't pronounce testosterone.
That makes sense. I can't pronounce it. I should just accept all these comments.
That you're a low T beta.
What does low T mean? Just low tier.
Yeah.
All right.
No, low testosterone. Luke.
Oh, low testosterone. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I thought I'd point that out, and I'm sure it's not exactly original to point out how the Fast and Furious movie is a bit sexist. And I wasn't going to bring it up, but I was just surprised to the extent it actually was. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. You kind of actually, I just realised I was going to talk about something related to the plot, which we sort of missed, which is basically just the fact that I did think this film was improved by having watched the previous films. Basically, because the first time I watched this film, as I said, I had not watched, I don't think I'd watched a single Fast and Furious film. I think I'd watched like bits. I think they'd been on and I kind of like looked at them and like other people had been watching them and I sort of ducked in and out and stuff like that. But I don't think I'd ever watched a single one up until I watched Fast and Furious 8. And I've watched that 3 times now. I watched it once with Scott and then once kind of in a sort of preparation for this film for this review like a while ago. And then I was like, you know what? I have no idea what's happening. So I'm going to go back and watch all of these films from the beginning. So over the course of, about a week, seeing as 8 films, I went back and I just watched them. And the first 4, I mean, the thing about, I guess here's the reason why, because I said the first 4 weren't very good. I think the reason I think the first 4 aren't very good is because the first 3 in particular are very similar. Obviously the third one is completely different characters, but it's still the same basic idea of like, it's just about racing. And even though I kind of said that's good because it's the main like essence of the film, or like the essence of the franchise, it does get very samey. And then you get into the 4th one, and apparently the 4th one is not very good according to Rotten Tomatoes, but it was kind of like interesting because this was a new thing.
Well, it's better than this one.
But they come in with like Fast 5 and Fast 6 and Fast 7, and they're all pretty solid heist films. But basically, the Fast and Furious franchise, my problem with it is that I don't think it's really worth watching any of them because Fast 5, for example, is probably is the best one. I mean, I think we were speaking about it before, and you mentioned that it's probably or considered to be the best one. And I think it probably is. But the thing is, I actually don't rate really any of the original films. I think they don't really hold up very well. And I don't think they're that interesting. So, yeah, I mean, basically all I'm saying is that, yes, this film is much worse if you have absolutely no context for the franchise, but then the additional problem is, well, if you want to get context for the franchise, you have to watch the whole franchise, and it's not worth the 16 hours you have to put into it. Because these films, I mean, they're not short either.
No,
that's
they are
the craziest thing about them. I mean, they're like, the later ones are like 2 hours and 15, but the earlier ones are still like an hour and 50. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
well, that's what I'm saying. A long talk, but yeah, I agree with the point. I mean, yeah, I guess, the thing is, well, I guess it's not good for this movie, and I think I've discussed it a lot, is you kind of need to know what happened in the previous movies with like
yes, exactly,
Owen Shaw and that I don't think is that good for these kind of movies when literally you just want to dip in and dip out, like you said. It's
surprising how non-episodic they are. You'd kind of think they'd be like a adventure of the week kind of style films, and not like, for example, Furious 6 and Furious 7 literally just follow straight on one from the other. Because in Furious 6, there's this guy called Owen Shaw, and you see him obviously in this film. So Owen Shaw is the bad guy, and he gets beaten up and basically hospitalized, and then that causes Deckard Shaw, his brother, to go on a rampage. And by the way, Han from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Yeah,
he dies.
So basically, his death is like a constant thing for the next 4 films until eventually in Fast and Furious 6, you see like that it was Deckard Shaw who killed him, and that's what I meant. That's why I said that Deckard Shaw is the person who kills one of the team, because he kills Han solo. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. So yeah, like you say, it's basically surprising how much you need to know the other films, especially seeing as, like I say, I mean these films, they're not rewatchable or anything like that. I mean, I don't want to watch any of them again ever again.
No, yeah.
But so like, I don't know. I mean, apparently maybe the meatheads just have this incredible memory where they're like, oh yeah, I remember exactly where I am in these films. And, I remember I watched this film 2 years ago, but I'm perfectly happy remembering what the God's Eye is and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and the
I
issue
could barely
with,
remember it. I watched it like a day ago.
The issue with Fast and Furious 9 is it's going to come out 3 years later than Fast and Furious 8 compared to just 2 years from the two previous ones. So Fast 6 was 2013, Fast 7 2015, and obviously Fast 8 2017. So yeah, it's now a 3-year gap. So people's memories are going to be even more fucked.
Whacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should get onto the main reason why, as you so eloquently put it, the meatheads come to see this movie and these type of movies. The racing,
the themes.
yeah, the themes, the racing / action scenes. So
Yes.
the first race in Cuba. It's kind of pointless, but I think it's good to remind everyone that this started out as a racing movie franchise. So
Yeah.
I don't know, the kind of how Vin Diesel starts challenging this Cuban guy is out of nowhere. Really, seems like it doesn't happen organically. It's kind of forced. But the actual race, of course, the bad guy has to be a cheater, so we want him to lose.
Yeah, I mean that's because basically, I mean, you were saying how it does matter what you have under your bonnet, or whatever. I don't call it a bonnet, a hood. But and obviously, it does. But the other thing is, you'd think, that they would say, okay, he's able to make this car good. The thing is, if it didn't matter what was under it, he wouldn't have changed the car at all. Clearly it matters a bit because he added nitrous oxide.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Tell you what, if it's but the funny thing is, even before he's using nitrous oxide, apparently the slowest car on the island is able to keep up with the fastest car on the island when they're just driving in a straight line.
Maybe it's a spec series.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, do you know what that means, by the way?
No, I didn't know.
It means when
bluff for it because my masculinity would be a bit wounded if I didn't know anything about cars.
Well, it's a racing series where every car is the same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Anyway, they're saying the entire island is a spec series.
Yeah.
That would be kind of funny. It's this is the fastest car on the island and the slowest car on the island.
Well, it's Cuba.
All
the
cars on this
communist.
island go at the exact... actually, yeah, that's true, yeah. The true equality would just be every single person has to this. I like that. But, but then obviously the thing is, it's already the slowest car on the island going up against the fastest car on the island. And then he cheats. And it's just couldn't you have just made it slightly more realistic by having Dominic, fall behind naturally because his car is slow? Yeah, I don't know why I called him Dominic.
I think it's Dominic.
I'm just, so middle class.
Anyway.
Dominic, what are you doing? I always catch you out here street racing. But I also want to say this isn't very relevant to this film, but here's something I have to say about the Fast and Furious franchise in general. Drag racing is stupid. Because you're just driving in a straight line. In this film, it's kind of better because they're just, they're weaving in and out a bit, so it's not drag racing. But
okay, right.
the fact that the film focuses on drag racing... Explain, Luke. Why is drag racing not lame? Because surely it's just about how good your car is. Because you're just driving in a straight line. You can't be good at driving.
Yeah, okay, right, fine. Drag racing is kind of lame, but it's more of I think it's more of a thing that engineers should do, or like to do, because it's all about getting the highest speed, and obviously racing around a circuit is a lot better. For actual racing drivers, drag racing is quite boring. For those drivers, because you're just going in a straight line and then it's over after 10 seconds. That's the case in most drag races. And if it's not over in 10 seconds, then what's the point in a drag race? Because then it's just which car has the fastest top speed is going to win. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with drag racing if it's engineers, Michael. If it's engineers.
I can accept that.
Yeah, good. There you go. Defended it a bit. Anyway, so the actual race. So like we said, bad guy has to be a cheater, even though he's got the fastest car on the island. So Vin Diesel sets his car on fire, Michael, because of the NOS. And it's not just NOS, it's Cuban NOS. And he reverses it, and somehow it's faster than the fastest car on the island. And I'm just how is this car not blowing up? How is this car going
I
this
did
fast?
want to say a positive thing there, though.
Go on.
I thought it was clever, with a lot of quote marks around that, that he went backwards because the engine was on fire, and therefore the fire was going into his face. So he switched into reverse in order to stop the fire going into his face.
But surely that would mean it would be slower if it was in reverse.
Yes, okay, yeah, that's the problem. So I think maybe, here's the thing, I was thinking about this. It would be more intelligent if he would have, for example, said, I'm going to change the gears so it goes faster in reverse, and that way I don't have to worry about the flames in my face. And he did that beforehand. Or maybe if, for example, he said, this would probably be more impractical. I was going to say, move the engine into the into the back. But, you know, so for example, I think maybe it would make sense. So you could be like, you know, that would be like an interesting if that was like his trick. So it was like, how are you going to win, Dom? You know, you've got a really slow car. And he was like, well, you know what? I'm going to rig it out so that the gears are kind of switched around. So you can drive it in reverse. And in that way, I'm going to set the engine on fire. But the flames aren't going to go in my face because I'm going to be driving backwards. And when it explodes, I'm going to be propelled forwards. And then you can have a scene where, like, at the end, he's about to lose, but then the engine explodes and then the chassis gets shot backwards and he ends up winning.
Yeah, and obviously that would improve the balance if you put the engine in the rear of the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, so, okay, Vin Diesel wins the race, and the crowd, even though it's a very tight finish, can tell. Don't know if they have, like...
Well, also, the guy who is actually racing was able to tell, even though it was really tight. I don't know, I mean... Maybe that makes sense, but I would think, like, I mean, for example, my mum was saying the other day, because we've got a car that has a very big hood, or a bonnet, as it were, so the front of the car kind of sticks out a lot, and it always agitates my mum, because she can't really tell when this car ends. She can't tell when, you know, the front of the car ends, because it's not very clear. So, I mean, you know, I assume that is reflective of the way that a professional drag racer would also feel about their car.
Okay. Yeah, and so Dom wins somehow, and then this, like, I can't believe this happened. How fast is he going? Like 100 miles an hour, probably? Something like that?
Yeah.
And he just jumps out onto the concrete and doesn't somehow glaze all of his skin off. Like, you see that immediately, and you see the whole first scene, and it's like, right, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I think the first scene was probably one of the worst things, actually, in terms of just being, like, so stupid.
It's like, it is a truly awful scene, and it's such a great way to kickstart this movie. It really is. And the thing is, he doesn't even fucking try and take his car away after the guy tried to sabotage him, and he says, I changed him. And, like, you don't know that. He could have just been like, ooh, I got away with that one. Maybe I should do that more in the future, you know? Like, what the fuck?
That's true.
It just gives his car away from his nephew, to his nephew as well. And, you know, I guess it makes sense because his nephew learned a valuable lesson. If you can't, you know, keep up with your payments or whatever for a car, just make sure...
Uncle Dommy will come in.
Yeah, you make sure you have a street racer as an uncle who can race the guy who lent you the money or the car and go and beat him. And then that uncle won't just get you your car back, but get you his car, which is better. So, yeah, he learned a valuable lesson in all this, so that's good. And so, yeah, that's that first action scene, or racing scene, or whatever. Like we said, very bad. And what a way to start off Fast and Furious 8, really is. Next action scene, where they take the EMP. The Rock somehow doesn't get seriously injured after his car is flipped over like 10 times, but whatever. You know what happens. Like, he can take rubber bullets, so whatever. Jason Statham and The Rock escaping from prison. I kind of enjoyed this because of his...
Okay, yeah, I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah, because of its absurdity. And there are...
I love the bit where he said, keep waiting, bitch.
Yeah.
Best bit in the whole film.
Yeah, it genuinely is, because it's like, it's playing into how... It knows it's absurd.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's... I don't think other parts of the movie, it's too serious for it to be absurd, but this particular scene is absurd, but it's not too serious. You got The Rock, he's basically doing his WWE stuff, like rubber bullets are bouncing off him, and like that line, keep waiting, bitch, to one of the prisoners as he stabs him. As I genuinely did enjoy that scene. I
enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, so
it was basically when they're just embracing the ridiculousness of the franchise. Exactly. It's just the best.
When you want to embrace the ridiculousness of it, embrace it. Like, please do it. And I hope they do that for Hobbs and Shaw, because that'll make it fun. Like, they should just do that. Anyway, so they don't do that throughout the rest of the movie, unfortunately. The capture of the Russian ambassador is one of those things.
Wait, have we done the bit where they steal God's Eye yet?
Oh no, I wasn't really going to mention that as an action.
I was just going to say, I think it's because you kind of, you know what, I think this was one of the things where you brought it up as a nitpick, and I have it under here as action. Basically, the fact that it just ignores how they're able to infiltrate this top secret facility with this really important... I mean, think about what this is. This is the ability to track down any human being on the planet.
Yes.
And they, you know, all they had to do was just rock in. Apparently they were able to do it completely silently, because it was just like, you know, the first they heard about it, they were like, that's where they are. So it's just so stupid. So I had it under action, but yeah, done.
Okay, so then we have the capture of the Russian ambassador or Russian defense minister or whatever in New York. And I don't know why he's driving through New York in Times Square, but whatever. I like how they use a bunch of cars to stop him, to be honest. I think that is nice.
I like that too.
Because it isn't...
Although one does think, like, I was confused, because I guess these are supposed to be like self-driving cars, but you think, are self-driving cars really that like much of a thing?
Maybe it's not self-driving. Maybe it's cars that can connect to a network. Like, you know...
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
You know how cars have like a something on them that so you can always tell where they are, like in case they get stolen. Maybe she uses that to hack into that and move the cars about. I don't know. It's stupid, but like it's the 7th most stupid thing in this movie, so it's fine.
True.
And I like it because it was incorporating cars into the movie. Like, I think that's always a plus.
Shocking.
Yeah. But again, I'm still thinking, why the fuck are these like 5 races the alien ones stopping him? Yeah, and also Jason Statham dies. Obviously, that's the end of him. He's not going to come back. But yeah, again, that scene, it's like, it's okay. I like the incorporation of cars, but the fucking car harpoons, that's ridiculous. Yeah. I'm sorry, it is. Like, whose idea was that in the first place to have fucking car harpoons on them? And
by the way, sorry, can you please call them carpoons?
Oh, sorry, carpoons. And again, it's another case of like this. It's ridiculous, but the scene is so serious with like Letty looking at Dom, and it's like, oh god, just embrace the ridiculousness of it. Embrace it, like you said before. That was the perfect phrase to use of this movie. It just doesn't do that. Okay, next up, Russia. So this is a long one. I was looking at the time, and it was like 1 minute 30 when they actually got to Russia, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" They got another like 40 minutes here in this scene. But yeah, so Russia, the first bit with Dom infiltrating the base, it's all right. Just standard stuff. Him doing a load of tricks, and everything works out for him. As it should. He's just got so much skill by getting lucky. Then when the team get in and start slaying some Russians, it's also fine. The Rock's doing his thing, killing a lot of innocent Russian soldiers, who were just trying to protect their base, by the way.
Yeah, I was so confused by that when they were, the Russians are not the bad guys in this, so it was very strange that they were just getting wasted.
They don't know that these people are the quote-unquote good guys. And they did say before they're Russian separatists, so again, maybe that's another reason why they have to be Russian separatists, so they can kill them without any consequences. So the first bit, of like what the fuck is going on in this action scene is when Tyrese Gibson manages to escape out of the freezing cold water by hanging onto a car door.
Brilliant, loved it.
Yeah, which is amazing. He doesn't get shot. Then he gets off, smacks a guy on a motorcycle with a car door, and it's over the top. It's ridiculous, but I can live with it. Then The Rock pushes a torpedo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah. You know
100% what? Down with that.
It's The Rock. He's it's fine. So and Charlize Theron fires a heat-seeking missile at the other team. Like I don't know why she needs to do that, but she does. Or maybe it's just to get back at Dom. I don't know. Anyway, there's a massive explosion as Dom obviously gets it to hit the submarine. And again, like it's so unlikely, like a 1% chance of that happening, but whatever. Then Dom jumps out again. He should like be badly injured.
Yes,
but then there's a massive fireball, and somehow all of his team managed to get right back to him and fucking block the fire with their cars. Like the fire doesn't work like that, Michael. And it genuinely, when I was watching that for the first time, I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, I don't know if it's possible for them in Fast and Furious to jump the shark, but I think this gets close to it. And again, like, obviously, it's ridiculous, and obviously I said before they should embrace the ridiculousness of this movie, but I don't think they actually embraced it because it was still quite a serious scene. And, it was... When I saw that for the first time, Michael, like I said, I thought this is the dumbest thing ever. Fire doesn't work. Fire doesn't just stop, when there's a car in the way. Like, fire goes over the car, goes underneath the car, goes around the car, and it's still very hot, even, if the car is, quote-unquote, blocking the path of fire. Dom should have got, 3rd-degree burns. He should be dead.
10th-degree burns.
So what do you think about that final action scene?
I mean, honestly, you've covered. I mean, I wrote down ice action scene is worst. Hello, Luke. Which basically is my So ice action scene is worst was my assessment of it, and I pretty much agree with you that it is just it's stupid. It's. I mean, the thing is, I don't know if them well, actually, I think the problem is basically it's the fact that it's cars, but then it's also a flat plane that they're driving in. Like, because, for example, I was going to say, maybe cars, are inherently limited when it comes to making interesting action scenes. But that's not necessarily true. For example, I like the scene where they use the massive wrecking ball to destroy the police cars. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
basically, all you need to do is come up with like sufficiently interesting thing to do with the premise. But this time, just like, hey, let's have them be driving in a literal, just icy expanse of nothingness. So you're basically just looking at. I mean, it's like watching Formula One.
Wow.
They're just so boring.
You say that on like the worst possible day. I just want you to know that.
Is this National Formula One Appreciation Day?
No, we had the best race on this very day in like fucking 50 years. It was an incredible race day in the German Grand Prix. And so you saying Formula One is boring. This
is what you're saying, Luke, is that a bunch of people all drove around really fast, but they were all driving around at the exact same speed, so it looked like they were just driving around really slowly, because relative to all the other cars, they weren't even moving that fast. So, that's the thing. That's the problem with Formula One. Formula One, they could all just be driving at 10 miles an hour, and then there's like one guy who maybe gets up to 11, because, they don't, it doesn't even look like they're driving that fast, because it's just like you've got no frame of reference. So that's why what they should have in Formula One to make it more interesting is some guy like on a bicycle, and they've got to avoid the guy on the bicycle, and also the guy on the bicycle provides context for how fast they're going. Anyway, I feel like this is related, but I hope you didn't mention it, so I don't think you did. While the ice scene's going on, there is a scene I quite liked. Jason Statham
so I was going to talk
saving
about this
the
next.
kid. Okay, yeah, I was wondering. Okay, yeah. So basically, I didn't think that would be under the ice. Yeah, so the ice scene is not fun. I mean, I think maybe the bit when they're actually infiltrating the facility is okay. I mean,
No,
the
it's just
action's
standard
fine, like,
action
they're shooting
stuff.
people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then like when it gets to the cars, you get like stupid / boring / I don't know. I mean, I guess he breaks the guy's neck. Oh, someone gets kicked into a propeller blade and sliced into pieces. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool, but it's the guy's doing the old cliche thing of cackling, like, ha ha ha, I've got you now. And then he doesn't got him now. Wow, what a shock.
Yeah, he should keep waiting to get him.
I do think
Bitch.
the Jason Statham baby scene, it is quite fun. I don't know why he didn't just hide the baby until it was all over, but nevertheless, it's a fun scene. Should have killed Cypher, though. Again, had the opportunity to just let him escape.
Yeah. I was thinking that. Also, actually, I was thinking that it was going to be one of those scenes where it's like an action scene with happy music playing over the top. But actually, because obviously he gets the baby to listen to happy music to protect its little ears. But you don't even hear the music that much. And I was thinking that would have been fun if it was an action scene with cute little music. I mean, it still was quite fun though, because it was like a little bit of comedy, and you could, Jason Statham's just hilarious.
And you could have had like 1.5 minutes of it with the song playing in the background. That would have been unique, and that would have been cool, and it would have been fun. But they didn't decide to do that, which is a shame. Okay, got anything more to say in the action / racing?
Nope.
Okay, I just want to talk about the characters for a bit, by the way. Or just the fact that there's nothing really with the characters. Like, there are no characters.
Well, okay, I think we should try and describe every single character, because I think you could do it, okay? So...
Or do the Phantom Menace thing.
Well, no, but like, okay, no, I'm not saying that. Because I'm saying, like, basically, for example, you can describe the characters, but in, like, the 2D way that they are defined. So, in other words, I'm not saying that, like, they don't have personality, but I'm saying, like, just identify their specific two-dimensional framework. So, for example, you'd say, Hobbs he's the Hulk, he's the hulking badass, he's the tank. That's who Hobbs is. Vin Diesel, he's more like, I mean, what is Vin Diesel? He's the leader.
He's the brains.
Ramsey, sexy hacker girl, who actually, by the way, I guess no, actually she's not really. I was going to say, because what's her name? Gal Gadot used to be in Fast and Furious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was. But she was like, her thing was she used her sexuality to win over men. Classic.
Unique, very unique premise. Yeah.
Michelle Rodriguez. She's the badass woman.
Yep.
That new Paul Walker, who's not that similar to Paul Walker right now, but right now he's kind of just like the rookie. Mm.
The rookie, yeah.
Tyrell Gibson. He's the comic relief, apparently. Tej is the hacker man.
Yeah. Tej Parker, yeah.
Ramsey's the gamer girl.
Who's the gamer girl?
Ramsey, she's the gamer girl.
Yeah.
She's like, hot. She's basically like basically Ludacris sent her a message like, "Hello, milady. Tis nice to see a hacker on this fair space. What is the name of you, my radiant maiden?" classic Ludacris, him wearing tips his neck beard. I don't know. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is like each character, it's like they've got their archetypes. I think that's the term, or cliches. That's it. They're cliches.
Well, yeah.
The characters there.
They're all
They
cliches.
just fit little niches.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of like, but here's the thing, like, they have all got their role, but the problem is the movie doesn't make them do their role. Like, for example, fucking Ramsey, she doesn't do anything for the entire movie. She's just pointless. She's just literally sitting in the car or cars for like half the movie. And the one time she gets to shine, she's going to counter-hack Cypher. She fucking fails.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
What, like,
it's hot though.
and what does Ludacris do in this movie? He hardly does anything.
Luda.
Tyrese Gibson.
Also, Ludacris used to do the music for these films, but now he doesn't. So that's embarrassing.
Tyrese Gibson, again, he doesn't really do anything. He's the comic relief. He's good for attempting to do a funny line. I really enjoyed Black Santa. That was great.
Oh yeah, Blanta.
Black Santa. Yeah, that was hilarious. But apart from that, like, I don't really think he has anything really to do. And as the problem with this movie, and it's kind of the problem when you accumulate characters over a long period of time, you're going to have some movies where they literally, like, for example, Ramsey, they have nothing to do. They literally, they're just there. And you have to try and make it work with them. And, they end up...
See, now, but the good thing is now they can actually start killing off some characters. So, here we go, then I'd be excited.
Ludacris should have died.
Yeah, that's true.
What if Ludacris
honestly,
died?
they should... I would like to see, actually, it would have been really bold if they killed Tyrese Gibson, like the comic relief character just gets brutally murdered.
and
you'd be like, oh man, this is making my dick shrink out here.
Yeah.
Classic.
Wonderful. Anyway, so yeah, there's the characters. Although, we need to talk about Cypher. And the biggest crime in the movie wasn't the cyber terrorism, it was the fact that she had dreadlocks, so she was appropriating black culture.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So she is she is now problematic. So yeah.
Well, you know what? I mean, like all true IT guys, she doesn't comb her hair. She's not got time. She's too busy eating Cheetos, watching Rick and Morty. Her mum's always like, Charlie's watch. I don't know what's the end of my sentence. Charlie's watch. Go and comb your hair. And she's like, I don't want to though, mum. So
that was a great accent you pulled out there, I have to say.
I do, yeah. Do you know who they should have? This is going to be the oldest meme in the world. Do you know who they should have in the Fast and Furious films?
What?
I'm in my mum's car. Vroom, vroom. Get out of my car.
The great thing about that girl is she tried to create a documentary about that video.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I know. It's great. I want to see that one day. Maybe we should review it.
We'll review it. I'm in my mum's car. Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Get out the car. No. Incredible. Right, I think we should conclude now.
Yes, we should
We've
conclude
talked
now.
about Fast and Furious 8 for far too long.
Yeah, we have.
So you go first, Michael.
Okay, I thought this film was... I mean, the thing is, it's kind of fantastic in that it's just so stupid. I think there's like quite a lot in this film which you can just go, yeah, okay, this is what I'm about. And in that sense, it's not like a lot of, I think, the Fast and Furious films are straight up just boring because, there's not that much going on. With this film, there is enough stupid stuff going on that it's good. In fact, I would even say it's possibly better than some of the good Fast and Furious films, simply because some of the good Fast and Furious films, like, okay, I mean, it was competent, but what else was there? This film, you're like, okay, I know what there is here. There's fucking Dwayne The Rock Johnson being shot by rubber bullets and just being like, rubber bullets, big mistake, and then just being such a badass. And I mean, having said that though, it's also kind of a film which is pointless and there's no reason to watch it because, like we said, it's not, I think this is a really key point. It's not episodic. This film isn't really a film you can sort of just jump into. There's going to be a lot of stuff. And also based on the fact that Cypher is surviving, I'm going to guess that she's probably going to come back.
Yeah, she is.
Which means, it's going to be, even less of a standalone film. So, I mean, unless, I tell you what though, if number 9 is completely over the top ridiculous, then I would say watch 8 and 9 because, they're worth it. But apart from that, I mean, like, I'm going to place this near another classic of so bad they're good films. Spider-Man 3, which means it's below Spider-Man 3. And above, Sleepless in Seattle. That's Fate of the Furious, Locked In. Good. Yeah, I agree with that. Well done, me.
Okay.
What about you, Luke?
So, I don't know, Michael, to be honest. I don't know. Here's the thing, like, about this movie. It's fun in a bad way. At the start.
Yeah.
And particularly the scene between Jason Statham and The Rock. Then it started to piss me off with how bad it was once the plot got going. And then I just gave up on it. And I no longer had any anger towards it. I do feel like
It's like a marriage.
Fast and Furious 7 should have been it for the franchise, but since it made $1.5 billion, that wasn't going to happen. This one...
Oh, so Fast and Furious 7 did make more. That's useful, because I did say when I was guessing the things,
Yes.
it's like, I imagine Fast and Furious 7 made more.
It did. This one, it was meant to have a twist. Hey, look, Dom has turned against the team. But the thing is, he never really did. He was being forced, doesn't have the same weight. And I'm just thinking, like, how much longer can they drag this out? Like, Fast and Furious 9 is going to come out in May, and you said they're going up to 10. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, how much longer can I do this? Can I get 2 more films out of this formula?
Well, I think I've heard that they've quote unquote planned out 10.
Okay.
So up to 10, which I guess, I mean, you could say, for example, the fact that they
Well, can they
decided
drag
to
this out
leave
and
Cypher alive.
make it good is basically the question. Because, of course, they can drag it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they decide that the only way they can try and make it good is to try and make it as ridiculous as
Yeah,
possible.
again, I think that's the route to go down. Like, okay, Fast 5 changed it up the ante, it made it serious, But now they've got nowhere to go except space. I've seen that touted around, which will just be so
Oh, wow.
dumb.
That would be the best thing ever.
No,
Okay.
I know, but it would be the best thing if they embrace the ridiculousness of it, but I don't think they will.
Yeah,
I-
that's true, yeah.
And that's the issue, because they do want to have their cake and eat it. They want to have, like, a serious movie at the same time.
Yeah.
And they, with, like, serious scenes between Cypher and Dom and, like, executions and all that. But then they want to... And they should want to have, like, Hobbs and Shaw, that kind of thing, which would be a fun movie, and they should have that in the movie, and I'm saying they should have that across the whole movie, and I think that would make it much better. But yeah, again, with this movie, yeah, it's just... there's so many holes, and it just wasn't fun, and it was... Even though you said, like, before, you didn't find it boring, is that what you said? You said other movies
I
were
did
more
say I
boring.
didn't find it boring. Well, I might have actually said that I didn't find it as boring as some of the better films of the series, but let's just say, since it gives you something more significant to contrast against, let's just say I didn't find it boring, Luke.
Okay, so when I watched this movie for the first time, I was like, I'm just bored.
I was bored the first time I watched it, actually. Well, I got
yeah.
less bored the second time I watched it. I think because I knew what to expect.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. You're not thinking about what's exciting. You're just trying to analyze it more. But the first time I watched it, I was like, God, that was just boring. That was my major emotion from it. It's like, it's a Fast and Furious movie. It's meant to be exciting with no plot, but it was just boring. And it was just because it was predictable, and it wasn't like it was taking itself too seriously. And yeah, it's really bad in a lot of ways. And I have to say, I can't be too good. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 10.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so and I think I'm being a bit more harsh on this movie than you, but I think it's deserved.
Yeah, you are, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So receipts. Predictions.
Receipts, oh.
Predictions, Michael. Hobbs and Shaw. What do you think it's going to get? On Rotten Tomatoes.
This one actually got, like, I think, in the 60s, yeah. So I think Hobbs and Shaw... I'm just going to say Hobbs and Shaw get exactly the same. I'm just going to say I think Hobbs and Shaw get 67%.
Okay, I'm going for a bit higher. I'm going for 77.
Okay, good.
I have faith. The Rock hasn't
Well done.
had some good movies lately.
Do you have a Faith of the Furious?
That's right. I think, The Rock's going to bounce back. Now, time for receipts. Lion King, Michael. Lion King.
I think, yeah.
Do you know what
You're right.
What you predicted?
Oh, wait, no, I went high, didn't I? I went higher than you. I
you
went to,
did.
like, in the 90s.
You did. What? You didn't go in the 90s.
80s?
You went 70.
Okay, no, never mind. 70, okay. I went 70.
70. And I went 65.
Yeah, and it got really bad.
And it got 53.
Yeah.
So there we
You're
have it.
getting good at this. So, I mean, I don't know. You're just really on point.
I win
It's really
again.
exciting,
What can I say? I'm now 8-5 in the lead, I think, and this is it really. I think there's no recovering from this.
Well, I mean, Luke, we're going to be doing this forever.
Forever and
forever
ever.
and ever. So I'll have, I mean, even when we're like 90 and you're 10,000 to 5.
Okay. Anyway,
who knows? Maybe they'll invent immortality by then.
so that is it then. That's it for another week. We have been selecting and reflecting on
Well, hold on, Luke. There's one thing we need to talk about.
what?
What we're doing next week.
Yeah, I was going to get onto that.
Oh, okay. Well, also, I want to say something else.
Okay, what do you want to say?
Fast and Furious 10 should be called fasten your seatbelts.
Not bad. Not bad.
Good. All right, now you can. Yeah.
Okay, so we have been selecting and reflecting on Fast and Furious, which I think we concluded wasn't fun. Ultimately, it failed at that, its main objective. So yeah, although the plot's going to be shit. So yeah, failing at its main objective, that unfortunately means it is a bad movie. What have we got next week though, Michael?
We are reviewing the film American Pie.
American Pie, which should be really good. Fun for the whole family. So, who have you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
I've been Luke. Thank you for listening to Select and Reflect. Join us next week for American Pie. Goodbye.
That was a good rhyme.
Yeah, I know.
Goodbye.